Thank you very much, Balaji. Thank you for having me here. We had a very interesting session in Bangalore some months ago that CDAC had convened, and I really appreciate the workshop that is happening today, because I think the kind of work that the CCA and his team is doing around the country, in some sense, in a very simplistic sense, the way I look at it is bringing order to the chaos. It's a tremendous contribution and a catalytic input that the CCA and his office is bringing to large enterprise-wide application usage and the aspects of security and non-repudiation and everything else that's attached to ensuring that there are no loopholes, there are no major incidents that happen, because we all know what happens in an uncontrolled cyber environment. So I think the role that CCA and his team play is a very, very vital role. And I recall, as the head of the TCS government business some years ago, we were some of the early adopters of the digital signature regime for large government enterprise applications, beginning with the first one, which was MCA 21, which was the first mission mode program of the government of India then, for the Corporate Affairs Ministry, where there was a huge transformation that came about in the government to business interface. Corporate Affairs Ministry is all about the incorporation of companies, their filing of annual returns, and several other 54 types of interactions that companies have with the government on an annual basis. And those were the formative years of the beginning of the certification authority regime in India. And I must commend that it has come a long way, where many more such large, voluminous user base enterprise applications have, in fact, some of them have been mandated to have digital signature as an embedded part of the application usage for identity and establishing a very secure transactional interface between users, duly facilitated by the digital signature regime. So, as most of you are aware, that more and more applications, more and more infusion of IT in the day-to-day lives of average Indian citizens is the way forward, is the only way that we are moving ahead. And therefore, the heightened, increased need for securitizing those interactions becomes absolutely paramount. And the way I look at the whole digital signature regime in public infrastructure is that it has to become an imperative and embedded component of every single application that the developer community conceives or conceptualizes from scratch. You must begin with the fact that you need to have identity, you need to have signature, digital encrypted signature embedded for anything that you are developing, and that should become the way of the world in India, where I foresee, let's say in the future, when we look at things like e-elections, e-voting, and that's the furthest that you can go, including things like the ability to buy tickets online, everything, every transactional activity on the enterprise application platform needs to be embedded with a digital signature regime. And this is where the office of the CCA has been able to create a mahol, if I can call it, an environment of enablement, and therefore much of the large application usage in the country is largely unaffected by any of the cyber hacks or cyber incidents that we see or hear about around the world. So it's a tremendously positive and catalytic activity that I commend the CCA and the team and CDAC as an entity to continue to promote, both within government as well as in the private sector. And all of this augurs well for a very robust application usage regime in the country. So I think I don't need to define public key infrastructure is a set of policies, procedures, hardware, software, and standards used to manage digital keys and certificates. It provides a framework for securing communications and digital identities over a potentially insecure public network like the internet. We all know some of the challenges that are being faced on a regular basis by many of us using the internet. So therefore, there is a need to have a layer which will securitize and ensure that there is authentication as well as identification and non-repudiation every time we use a public network platform like the internet. PKI is commonly used to enable secure data transfer, authentication, and authorization in various applications, including web browsing, email, secure access to networks. Some of the key components of PKI include a digital certificate, which is the very heart of the core component, if I can call it. Digital certificates, these are electronic documents that bind a public key to an individual or entity certificates as issued by the certification authority, the CAs, and are used to verify the authenticity of the public key owner. Public and private keys is another component. A key pair consists of a public key which is shared openly and a private key which is kept secret. The public key is used for encryption and the verification, while the private key is used for decryption and signature, signing. Certification authority, and we have some certification authorities in the room, are entities responsible for issuing digital certificates to users. They verify the identity of the certificate holder before issuing a certificate. Registration authorities are responsible for verifying the identity of individuals or entities before they are issued a digital certificate by the CA. Certificate revocation list is a list of certificates that have been revoked by the CA before their expiration date. It helps in checking the validity of the digital certificate on a continuous basis. So these are some of the components that comprise the whole PKI regime. And coming to digital public infrastructure, it refers to the technological foundation that enables various e-governance services and digital interactions between government and citizens, G2C. It encompasses a wide range of technological, including databases, networks, cybersecurity measures, and more to support digital services provided by government entities. When integrating PKI into DPI, digital public infrastructure, it often involves implementation of a secure and trusted infrastructure for managing digital identities. Securing communications and ensuring the integrity and confidentiality of data in digital government services, PKI plays a crucial role in establishing trust in online transactions and interactions between citizens and government entities. The role of PKI in digital public infrastructure includes an activity very crucial, authentication. PKI enables secure authentication in a digital interaction. Government services can use digital certificates to verify the identity of the individuals accessing digital platforms or making online transactions. Digital signatures, PKI allows the use of digital signatures which help in verifying the integrity and authenticity of digital documents. Government documents, contracts, or transactions can be digitally signed for added and additional security. Secure communications, PKI ensures secure communications between citizens and government entities. Encrypting data using public key cryptography ensures that sensitive information is transmitted securely over the networks. Trust in e-governance services. By implementing PKI, government entities can establish a trusted environment for citizens to interact with digital services. Trust is critical and crucial in areas such as online tax filing, income tax. Already e-filing is very much in vogue in India. In the future, we are definitely going to see e-voting in India. It's in the part of the roadmap. And accessing government databases for crucial information. Data integrity. PKI helps in maintaining the integrity of the data. Digital signatures ensure that data has not been tampered with during transmission or storage. This is very, very applicable when you are accessing information, let's say with regard to land records or any of the certificates that are issued by government, to ensure that there is no tampering involved in the original information remaining the same form as it is as a part of the government record. Compliance and regulation. Many regulatory frameworks mandate the use of secure digital communication in government services. PKI provides a framework that aligns with these compliance requirements. The challenges and considerations, of course, of the digital signature and PKI regime include the key management process. Proper management of public and private keys is essential to the security of PKI. Safeguarding private keys and ensuring that they are not compromised is very critical. User education, awareness, ensuring that users understand the importance of digital security and how to use digital certificates is crucial for the effective implementation of PKI. Very often you will come across situations where digital signatures, certificates are compromised by handing it to either the PA or the other person in the office. So one has to be very cognizant of the risks attached to such compromises. Scalability is another one, as India is absolutely, we have plenty of numbers. So to be able to ensure that any system developed can scale to the volume expectations of usage in the country is another very, very important factor. And their ability of the application to handle peaks and troughs of usage is another very important factor that needs to be considered when you architect a solution to ensure scalability. Interoperability, ensuring interoperability between different PKI systems is important, especially in public infrastructure, where multiple entities may be involved in a heterogeneous environment, cross ministries, cross departments, people having developed applications using different platforms. The interoperability of such a system becomes very important across heterogeneous technical platforms. And of course, regulatory compliance, adhering to relevant regulations and standards is crucial. Different regions may have specific requirements for the use of digital signatures and certificates. Overall, PKI within DPI contributes to the security, privacy, and reliability of digital interactions and enables secure authentication, data protection, and the establishment of a trusted environment for digital services. I would urge the digital developing community, such as the ones who are present in the room, to conceive of a completely PKI-enabled digital India. That is the direction in which India is moving, and the CCA is playing a pivotal role in increasing the awareness, usage, and adoption, because with the, as I said, bringing order to the chaos is the real silent work that the CCA is doing, ensuring the adoption of the digital signature regime. I also foresee in the future that non-repudiation is going to become a very important element in enterprise application usage in the country. A digital signature, which is a dongle, can be compromised to some extent where you can actually share the digital signature physically with somebody else. But if you combine a PKI, a biometric component to the digital signature and create a combined device which is 2-in-1, you ensure not only digital signature, authenticity, identification, and security, but you also ensure that the individual cannot escape the non-repudiation clause of the IT Act in the future, when he cannot deny, he or she, that it was he or she who actually did that online transaction or accessed the database or queried an application. So I foresee in the future, and I'm sure the CCA and his team are working towards this in this direction, that India will have a very mature PKI authentication, self-identification through biometrics, combined with digital signature, all in one device, duly indigenously developed in the country, because we have the capabilities of doing so in the country. And this can become a model for many, many of the other developing countries, where we can actually take this as a template for others to also benefit from a digitally PKI-enabled regime that I foresee India in the future. So thank you very much for your attention, and I wish this conference the very best. There are many technical sessions that are coming in the afternoon, and I'm sure that you will have a lot of interactions and Q&A to get the queries. And most importantly, when you go away from this conference, to spread the message of a PKI-enabled enterprise regime that should be the one that India should have in the very near future. PKI, digital signature, biometric authentication for every application by default should be the mission mode mantra for all of us going forward. Thank you again for your attention.